to everybody. I probably have to warn you before I get started here that since I had this near-death experience about 14 months ago, one of the things that changed in me is my emotions now run a lot closer to my surface than they did prior to that. So if I get too emotional during this, that's probably why. As Paul was saying, this whole thing started back in 1984, and I'll tell you a quick little anecdote about when I was about 18. My oldest brother Jay, who was plugged more into the Jewish culture and the Jewish world than I was at that time, he kind of jokingly one day after I threw about 50 pitches over his head as he was catching me and I was trying to learn how to pitch strikes, he knew I was going to become a softball pitcher at that time. And he jokingly said to me something that I had never heard before, or heard of before. He said, well, if they ever added fast pitch softball to the Maccabi games, you'd probably be the Jewish Cy Young. And I guess he was in some ways a little bit prophetic when he said that. And at the time, I didn't know what the Maccabi games was. He then explained to me that there was this event that went on in Israel that the best Jewish athletes in the world got an opportunity and luck to participate in. And I didn't pay much more attention until fast forward to 1984. I'm now 24 years old. I've got about 7 years under my belt as a fast pitch pitcher. And I had never even been on, I'd only been on a team with one other Jewish guy in that whole period of time of playing for 7 years. And one day, on about a Thursday of the work week in 1984, in the summer, we were getting ready to go to Vegas that weekend to play, and I got a fax from my older brother Jay again. Here he was coming with a new message saying, guess what? They just made the official announcement. Softball's been added to the 1985 12th Maccabi games. They're looking for the best Jewish fast pitch players in America. And I saw the fax he sent me about the ad that was in the ASA fast pitch publication, or softball publication, and I said to myself, no, this has to be slow pitch. It has to be baseball. There's just no way that this could be about fast pitch. So on that next day, I called the guy whose phone number was in there, and lo and behold, I found out indeed, I wasn't wrong, it wasn't a typo. They were looking for the best Jewish fast pitch players. So that weekend we were going to Las Vegas, and sure as heck, we played that brutal game in the heat of Vegas, about 105-degree heat. And I threw what was then probably one of the best games I'd ever thrown in my life. Paul played on an open team from Phoenix. We beat him 1-0. And I was playing with a bunch of ragtag A players from California. And a guy on my team who would become one of my best friends and still a great friend of mine today, he hit me in the ribs like this and he said, hey, you've been talking about going to this thing in Israel and all this. He goes, see that little shit over there? I said, Paul, he says, he's a member of your tribe. You have to talk to him. So I went over and did the shtick that Paul was talking about, and lo and behold, I didn't know who he was. I just knew he was the leadoff guy. I got out 3 times in the game. And I gave him a spiel enough to think about coming to Los Angeles to participate in one of the 2 tryouts that was being held to haphazardly pick this 14-man team. And he came, he stayed at my place in Manhattan Beach at the time, came to the tryout, impressed the coach, made the team, and we've been best of friends. So good friends that when I was inducted 2 months ago into the World Softball Hall of Fame, I picked Paul to introduce me because we went back so far and we've traveled the world, and there's nobody on a softball field that I really feel closer to than this guy. So suffice it to say, the next thing I'll say is that I can honestly tell all of you that this program that Stephanie's here to represent and the video you just saw, I can't, in my wildest imagination, even imagine who the person I would be today if this program hadn't intersected with my life in 1984. Because of that, I got an opportunity to go to 10 international trips, 6 in Israel, 4 in Latin America, and many of the guys in this room are going to be going on the first trip that I'm missing since it all got established in Brazil on Christmas Day this year when the games open in Brazil. It's hard for me to not be part of the team, but I know I'll be there in spirit. And all I can tell you all is that what this program means to so many people besides myself, it meant a lot to me, and as I said, I can't even imagine who I'd be without it. The friends I've made, the fact that I was able to become a more worldly person, the international friends I've made, the incredible competitions I had in the ball fields, that they all fade in my memory, but what doesn't fade is the friendships I have with people in this room, and people who are in Argentina, and people in Israel, and people in Canada. When I was laying in a hospital bed in December of last year, somebody told me they had a surprise for me, and they brought my iPad over and laid it on my chest, and I couldn't hardly move. And they played an 8-minute video on YouTube that my friends from Canada, who had played against and battled on the field, tooth and nail for 25 years, made a very touching, heartfelt, get well tribute video to me. And I watched it, and I laid there in that bed and I cried like a baby for an hour when it was over. Because I just couldn't believe that these people really were proving to me that they were lifelong friends. And in addition to all the Jewish friends I've made from other countries in America, the guys who are my teammates, other athletes and other sportsmen in Maccabi, to prove this is really a family, we've been able to bring in people who were dear friends of mine from the secular softball world, like Ronnie Rupp, who's my best friend, Bobby Aguilar, who's a dear friend. They've both come and participated on our team when we've needed them to help us in practice, in games, and Ronnie's daughter Jenny can verify that she's become an official part of the Maccabi family now. So I don't want to be long-winded. I know we're all here to have fun tonight, but I just want to tell you that you should all be aware that this is not just a organizational group like the U.S. Olympic Committee is for the secular world of elite athletes, or that the NCAA is for college athletes. This is a different kind of thing. And it made me proud to be Jewish, proud to be an athlete in the sport that I think I represented well, and the opportunity to have made such wonderful friends and have such wonderful times that I've had are way more than I ever deserved or I ever bargained for when I first put on a pair of softball shoes and turned my arm around. So with that, I just want to thank you all for coming. If you can in any way participate in the silent auction or write a check to Maccabi USA to help us with this effort of keeping this program going, I encourage you to do that. But there's no strings attached to this event tonight. We're all glad that you can make it. We're all glad we got a chance to say a few things. And I want to make a quick presentation. Somebody, Aggie, you were standing right over there by you. Is one of them is...
Both of them, or?
Bring them both up here, that way I can pick them out. But I got to tell you, one of the guys I became friends with in this last trip we went to Israel in 2009 is Larry Silfen. And Larry was the organizer of this event tonight along with Jack. And let me tell you that after 8 months of being in a hospital bed, barely being able to move, I was really in a predicament because I had no apartment to go back to. My stuff had been liquidated, my last month's rent had been paid long before. And I was really in a bind. I was literally homeless in a hospital bed. And Larry reached out to me and he allowed me to move in with him and stay there for 6 or 8 weeks, which I did. While I got on my feet and I found the place I'm living in now in Santa Monica, which I really love, and I'm so glad that I got to move into I had the time to take a breath, move into a place that I wanted to be in. And all that time, since I moved in with him, he's been begging me to give him something for his sports wall in the sports room in his house. So Larry, I want to give you this, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. The other one here is for Fred Cohen, who's not here with us tonight. He's at Ken Schwartz's son's bar mitzvah. But when I got put into the World Softball Hall of Fame 2 months ago, Fred was my sponsor. And his company took this ad in the program, and this was my bio page. So I signed this to Fred so he could put it into his office. I'm going to give it to him tomorrow, but if he was here tonight, I'd give it to him. So once again, thanks to everybody for coming. Please stay involved with the program. Help in any way you can. Participate. If you have children who can play in future Maccabias, get them involved. They'll get way more out of it than they ever thought they could put into it. And I can tell you that firsthand. So thanks, everybody.